Two birds, two bets, and of course the assorted, colorful colors of crazy people. I'm here with a really crazy person, my buddy Bud Brown, and we're trying a new venue today, and he has stolen my idea for doing a video and did it on his channel. So then he dictated to me exactly what I'm going to be doing on my channel, because Bud's very pushy.
As a teacher would, take control.
And of course I listen to him.
The lesson plans.
I wanted to talk about growing old in America. He said, that's a good idea, let's do it on my channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anytime I can help.
What a guy.
Last week, him and I were shooting the breeze, and believe it or not, our conversation lasts about 3 hours. Now, normally you'd think that's because it was a really interesting conversation. It just takes Bud forever to get to the point.
Right.
So,
I got to go around the block 2 or 3 times.
I have to, bring him back in.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to the topic.
What topic?
You see? Thank you. So, like Seinfeld, this is just a video about nothing.
Yeah. That's true.
But we just enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
And you know what? Bud and I have shared this thing since the day we met, which was over 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Is neither one of us has ever had any kind of an agenda, or we've never tried to convince each other to think one way or the other.
No.
He just tells me what's going on in his world. I tell him what's going on in my world.
Yeah.
And they're different, but they're very interesting to us both. So it's an awesome friendship that we have.
It is.
And it really is special. Bud wanted me to talk about, because we were yapping about it last week, about living in a box.
Exactly.
Being boxed in. And I've kind of brushed on this on my channel before, but I don't think I've actually dedicated an actual video to it. So why not? Let's give it a try, see if it works. And if not, what the hell? But my analogy with Bud was, we were talking about all kinds of things, and one thing is thinking outside the box. That's a big, it's a big saying, and it makes sense that you should think differently than other people.
Right.
I used to work for a guy, and he was a multimillionaire, very successful, and one of his little isms, he had these little isms, was, Paul, watch what everybody else is doing, then you do the opposite. And he had, and that was one of many. And he was right. In other words, the herd mentality just sometimes goes over the cliff, like lemmings, right?
Yeah, 10,000 lemmings can't all be wrong.
That's correct. So the analogy we were talking about on his channel just a little while ago was older men. I suppose it applies to females also. In America, the grain of America, and how we're just kind of become invisible, right? Well, and then we discussed how when we came over to the Philippines, how it was sort of a rebirth, if you will. It was a big shock to the system and a change, and not all of it's, puppy dogs and rainbows, but it's got its challenges, definitely. However, much more good than bad, I would say. And I had defined my life in America as the box. And so this is the story. I lived and woke up in a box. And then I would walk in to my garage, which was another box, push a button, and I would get into my mobile box, which was my car, and I would drive with a bunch of...
Just for a second. Where I was, and it's probably what you're talking about, there's just one door between the den into the garage. So you're never on the outside, even getting into your car.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
I don't know if you had to go outside to get into the garage or not. No. Just a wall. Goes from the inside of the house to the inside of the garage.
But they're separate boxes. The garage is a box, the car is a box, the house is a box.
Not outside for a second.
Not outside of the box for a moment.
For a moment. Go ahead.
Hit the remote. Thank you. Hit the remote, get in my box, drive to a great big box, which was my work, walk in, and then sit in a cubicle, which was a box.
Exactly.
Work. Go from the big box into my little box, drive my little box through the drive-through at Jack in the Box, pick up dinner.
Jack in the Box.
Because they were on the way home. I'm not kidding you. Go into my little box, which was a garage, walk into my big box, set down my Jack in the Box, and eat it while I watched the box until I went to sleep.
Wow.
Rinse, repeat, and do it all over again tomorrow. And that's kind of how I define about 25 years of my life in the state, in America, in the States.
Box.
And when I was living in Vegas, this is how bad it was. I moved to Vegas in '88. There was about 400,000 people as a population.
Oh.
Real small, homey kind of feel to it, if you will. You know, a lot of casino workers and all that. So the kind of job I did was not the normal, but met all those people. And then the explosion occurred. The building boom came to Las Vegas. 5,000 people per month for years moved to Las Vegas from California, primarily from California, because for the same reason I did it back in '88. I have a multitude of reasons, but one of them was to buy a house, to buy my box, because I couldn't afford one in LA. But you come to Vegas, I bought my first house for 80 grand. The same house in LA would have been a $1.5 million.
No doubt.
No way I could have afforded that. So I was chasing that American dream.
Yeah.
You know, and I got it at the time, what I thought was my American dream. So anyway, that was my box. And all these people moved in, and after 25 years of going to the same place from box to box to box, finally there was a breakup in the marriage. I left the box. Actually, my job was finance manager, and you know what the title is? He works the box.
Really?
Any of your friends out there that are in the car business, ask them what the title of a finance manager is. They'll say he's in the box. The finance department is known as the box, which just correlates with this. But anybody out there watching this, if you know somebody in the business, go ahead and ask them, hey, what's F&I called? The box. Anyway, so what happened was all these people moved. All this construction was going on in Vegas. And I changed careers. I'd had enough of having enough. And I went into real estate. I took the test, I passed the test, and I knew that I was going to make half as much money, which I did. I made half as much money and had 10 times as much freedom and fun. The marriage was over, the kids were grown up, they were out, I was alone, and I was just for once finally doing my thing. And I was able to work from home, which was my box, but I was able to drive around a lot. Now when you do real estate, you're obviously looking at properties, right? I'm almost ashamed to tell you that I didn't know 95% of Las Vegas by the time those 25 years had passed. I knew about Green Valley, I knew about Henderson, I knew about North Las Vegas, I knew about all these, Red Rock and all this stuff. But I was so busy going from box to box to box to box and back to box, because I'd work not a normal day. I would work 12 hours a day, 14 hours, whatever. If I had a day off, I would just stay home, or I would run my errands like the dry cleaning and the market and the haircut and all that. By the time I got done, maybe I'd squeak in a game of golf, and that was it. So I never got outside of like 3 or 4 miles of my little world. And when I went out there, I discovered this whole new place that developed. And there's now something like 2.5 million people.
Really?
When I moved there was 400,000. What do you think about that, Bud? What's your input on that? Did your life mirror that? Or did it get anywhere? Because I knew you were a magician and a teacher, and you did all kinds of stuff. You were a lot more active and diverse than I ever was. But
well, the teaching years were going from box to box. We had the house, box, one wall, you go into the garage, and like you say, push the button, garage door opens, the little box goes out, and then I did have to walk from the parking lot into the school room box.
Yeah.
So that was a few minutes of fresh air there. And then in that box, all day, and then a couple more minutes to go from that box to the box with wheels on it.
Right.
And then went home. Before, of course, as you start to pull in the driveway, no need to get out to open the garage door. Just opens up, goes in, shut, go inside, look at the box.
How does that compare to the Philippines?
Oh, 100% different.
Yeah. And I'll just interrupt you for a second. Since you used the garage door opener, I never knew my neighbors. I knew a guy across the street, or when my kids were little, there would be play dates.
Yeah.
And so you kind of got to know the people from school.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about now I'm 50, 55, the kids are gone, the wife's gone. It's just me. That wasn't your situation, but it was you and Gloria.
Yeah.
But did you know your neighbors and go over and have casseroles and
not
stuff
really.
like that?
Yeah.
No barbecues?
No.
Any of that? Okay.
No time.
No time.
Yeah.
No time.
Yeah. But one thing that I did, for some strange reason, I was aware of when I would go have a few minutes of out of the box for going from my car to the work or to home, I noticed that everything all around, there was nothing natural. It was either asphalt, cement, and
that's very true.
There may be a tree or two, but they were planted. Somebody put them there.
Yeah.
Everything was like, it was like,
yeah.
But here, it's so refreshing, and I really enjoy taking a little road, and on either side, banana trees, and maybe kind of rough looking coconut trees.
Yeah.
But I feel, invigorated, like I'm out in the open,
Yeah.
And even when we go home, there's a spot where I kind of turned off the highway going to our place, kind of a back way, and I tell Joyce, man, I just really enjoy, and it's kind of a curvy thing too. I said, I just really enjoy it. She said, yeah, you say that every time we go through here. Well, it's still true.
So when you go back to the States, and that's going to be in the middle of March.
Yep.
What do you think are you going to have reverse culture shock?
I may have, and I consider that when the things that have become, it's like driving a car. First is conscious. You have to think of this and that.
Sure.
And like moving to a new culture, a new place, you have to think about this. And then after a while, it becomes subconscious, and you do things automatically.
Yeah.
Which normally is a good thing.
Yeah.
You don't need to ride a bicycle or driving a car like that. You want it to be. But what I'm a little bit nervous about, the things that have become unconscious or subconsciously doing, that may get me in trouble in another culture, specifically the States.
Are you referring to driving?
Driving, and even, I'm afraid, and I'm only half joking on this part, if somebody comes up and says, Merry Christmas, I'll reach for my wallet.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. 'Tis the season.
Yeah.
Where you get these ukulele players come up to you, and you pay them to go away. Or the little kids.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So now I'm used to that, and the greeting, Merry Christmas, is kind of, the shine has been, to us, of course, we're American, it's just a greeting. It's a happy holidays type greeting.
Yeah.
We're not expected to give somebody something.
Right. So you're going to be getting there in March. So you'll be past all that here.
Yep.
And we were talking about being invisible on your video.
Yeah.
Do you think that you're going to be like the Invisible Man again? Where here you're kind of like, it's not that either one of us are like the big deal. It's just the fact that we're different looking.
Right.
So people look at us, the locals do.
Yeah.
And little kids, policemen, men, women, all ages, all brackets, they usually wave and smile if you make eye contact with them. What do you think is going to be like in America?
I'm very curious to find out.
I'm curious to find out too.
Because if I envision on a negative thing, I'm walking and somebody else is coming and I'll say good morning or something like that. They may think, do I know you? Or,
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Maybe,
Right.
maybe not.
This is going to be an interesting little humanity experiment.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
is. It really is.
Yeah.
I think it's going to make for some fascinating content, some fascinating interviews, if we can approach that.
Yeah, I'm going
and
to.
you and I need to make a deal that we'll do some live streams.
Right,
where
that'd
we
be awesome.
connect, and I can ask you about how it's going on, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And we'll just sort of take it from there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
anyway, that's the story about me being in a box and him being in a box, and now he's going to be bailing out on us and abandoning me.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh well.
So say goodbye to crackhead Santa over here with the beard.
You got along before you met me. You can get along without me now.
But then, thanks for coming on the channel.
You're welcome. Always a pleasure.
We will see you crazy people
As long
later.
as you take your medication, everything is fine. You know.